What is going on, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius players? Today we're going over the EP/Latent Ability update for Lulu and Auron from Final Fantasy X. These are some incredibly powerful skills for you guys to get access to. You could bring your characters back up into the meta. Lulu's going to be an insanely strong damage dealing character for you as a mage, and then Auron is going to be a very powerful breaker. Still helps out his breaking capabilities as well as his damage dealing capabilities on top of that. So let us know down in the comment section below which one of these characters, if either, you're going to update. And as always, we're going to be going over the new skills, but if the new skills talk about the old skills they used to have, we'll be touching on those as well. So down here we have the latent abilities for Lulu with Magic Vortex 2 and Experienced Guardian 2. Now you're going to want to max out both of these skills, and we'll touch on that. This is because you get the big bad daddy upgrades from these fully enhanced EP skills. So Magic Vortex 2 is going to be a 7-turn cooldown available on turn 1. It's a 120% water imperil for 6 turns to all enemies. It's going to give you 7 turns of triple cast black magic, and it's also going to increase the multiplier of flood +1 as well as +2 in raging water by 30 times for 7 turns to the caster. So this is going to give you that big damage, where all of her damage comes from, because Flood +2 and Raging Water are her go-to damage dealing skills, and they're going to be going up from a very low mod to an insanely high mod with this skill. So Flood +2 here is traditionally a 4.0 multiplier, so this goes up to a 34.0 multiplier there. And then Raging Water is her chain finishing skill, which you can fit into the end of a flood if you so desire. It goes up to a 12.0 mod, but with that EP skill upgrade, it goes up to a 42 times mod that you can chain finish on. Now on top of this, there are 2 other characters that will be using a video. Maybe it'll be coming out today. I call it the rain dance meta, the water meta, where there's some characters out there that actually can buff the multiplier of water spells and abilities, especially flood, by other multipliers. You get an extra 8.0 mod on top of this. You can have a 42 times multiplier flood, which is going to make her insanely strong if you have access to those units. So look out for that video. If you want to see that, go ahead, hit that subscription button so you don't miss any sort of videos that come out on the channel to deal with Final Fantasy Brave Exvius or other Final Fantasy games. On top of that, we're going to be going over Experienced Guardian. You need to get this one as well. 60% magic, 50% defense, spirit, HP, 20% MP, gives her 100% true double hand or true dual wield magic, 150% limit burst damage, and a 30 times multiplier to her flare fury skill, which is either the base version or the +1 or the +2 version. So flare fury here is going to be the +2. Gives you some limit burst gauge crystals. It's another 120% water imperil for you, and another way to unlock triple cast black magic for you as well. And the multiplier on it is actually pretty significant. 15 times with ignore 25% spirit, so you get an extra 33% damage from this, which means it's gonna be a 45 times mod ignore 33% spirit. So it's gonna be like a 60, a little bit over a 60 times multiplier there. You can't like dual cast this or anything, so traditionally, you know, you might not need to actually level this up because the triple cast black magic, you have a lot of uptime on it with the 7-turn skill here, but we're getting the true dual wield and true double hand and the, all those raw stats with Experienced Guardian 2. She's gonna have a lot of magic for you as well. If you upgrade Venus Crest, this 60% magic here and some fire resist, and the magical Mog is 100% magic with a rod. So this would be 160 and another 60 here, so a whopping 220% magic from just those 3 passives that she has access to. So that's gonna be a fantastic thing for you to do as well, guys. So definitely look into Lulu. We're gonna have a video showcasing just how strong she can be in that team comp as well, the Flood Rain Dance team. We'll have that up but probably either later today or tomorrow. So like I said, if you want to see that, make sure you don't miss out on it, because she is a very powerful, you could actually make her the strongest mage in the game with that proper support. She's incredibly strong. She just does damage, guys, on top of that. So thank you guys once again for those of you who are becoming Patreon supporters as well as YouTube channel members. If you want to help out the channel in that way, go for it. Links downstairs for you in the description below. Can't thank you guys enough for that. Every little bit helps. Now Auron here, we're gonna go over his EP skills. He has access to God Killer +2 and then Believer of Infinite Possibility. So God Killer +2 is going to be a very strong skill here. It's going to be another way for him to break. This will be a very strong way for him to break as well as offer up some additional damage here. So it's a 4-turn cooldown, not available until turn 4. It's AT chaining, Absolute Mirror of Equity 40 times multiplier, and then it's going to do this regressive break that gets weaker over time. It starts out as a 80% attack, defense, magic, and spirit break for 1 turn, and then it goes to a 76 for 1 turn, and then it goes down to a 74% for the final turn there. So 80, 76, 74, so it's going to be a 3-turn break. All of this is over 70%, so it's a fantastic thing, and it enables Bushido triple arts for 3 turns to the caster as well, so you can get in there and offer up some damage dealing skills as well. Now, Auron had some old multipliers in his skills, 4.5, really low multiplier, shooting star 2.75, ignore 50% defense, but luckily this is fixed with his other ability awakening skill here, Believer of Infinite Possibilities. You're going to want to max this one out as well for this big daddy damage dealing skill buff. Now, it's going to give him a 50% attack buff, a defense, spirit, HP, and MP buff of 30%. He's going to get 100% limit burst damage, 6 limit burst gauge crystals per turn to help him get that limit burst off, which is pretty important. And then it's going to give his 9 flame Hailstorm and take the initiative skills a 34 times multiplier buff. On top of that, God Killer and Shooting Star are going to get a 15 times mod buff. So let's go up and look at these 9 flame Hailstorm and take the initiative. Take the initiative here, 10 times mod, so this could be a 34 or 44 times multiplier here, if you ever want to get in there and chain finish with that. And then 9 flame and Hailstorm, this is going to be a 38.5 times mod buff. And then I think he actually gets another 1.5. Yeah, so he's got 40 times multipliers. This is actually big damage dealing skills. Remember, he's your support character, so you can use him as a support chainer, damage dealing character, maybe fit chain finisher in your team like Sid or Tidus or something of that nature into your party to take advantage of those good multiplier buffs and chain up with them. Or you can go in here with Shooting Star, because this does get a 15 times mod buff, which is lower, but remember, Shooting Star is an ignore defense 50% skill, so this multiplier is going to get doubled up, so it's going to be a 17.75 times mod times 2 because of the ignore 50% defense. So it's going to be a 35 times mod that you can chain finish with, and these are a part of his dual / triple cast skill. So you can get in there with some triple cast action, 40 time chaining skills, or some chain finish action with Shooting Star for 35 times mod chain finish, and have him just do that bonus damage for you. Now, God Killer +2, you might notice his big break is only available on turn 4. It's really not that big of a deal though, because Entrust the Future is still here. So we have turn 1, you Entrust the Future, you have these breaks for 3 turns, and then turn 4 you can get in here with God Killer +. So he's gonna have this way to rotate through breaks for you now really easily while putting out some pretty significant damage. He's not gonna be the best damage dealer in the game or anything, because his uptime on his triple cast is not that high. He's going to be a dual cast character with 40 times mods, but if you have the proper support for him, because his imperils are not that high, if you have someone else imperiling for him, which isn't really his job anymore, it was back in the day, but if you put that on someone else, who there's a lot of characters do that, he starts doing some significant damage there. So he's gonna be a true double hand character with some pretty good chaining and chain finishing capabilities, and he also fits that primary role of being able to be your main breaker, which is a pretty big deal. And then God Breaker or God Killer here, remember, also gets the 15 times mod buff, so this will be no longer a 2.5 times mod, ignore 50% defense. It's no longer a 5.0 mod. It is going to be a what is it, 25 times mod here for this skill as well. So pretty significant in all things here. Pretty powerful sort of stuff here for you to be doing with Auron. Oh no, not 25. Hello, 35 times mod, because it gets a 15 times mod increase. Yeah, 15, not 10. 15 times mod. And then the 6 LB crystals per turn from Believer of Impossibilities is a big deal as well, because this is another break that he has access to here, 74% for 3 turns to all enemies. And this is going to help you, help you gear up for doing damage that you want to be doing, and still get this auto 6 LB crystals per turn. So you're gonna, over the course of 3 turns, have 18 crystals, which is gonna be over half of it just from this one ability awakening alone here with the EP ability awakening, latent ability upgrade, whatever you guys want to call it there. So the LB damage isn't that big of a deal because the multiplier on his LB is insignificant. He's not an LB damage dealer, but he is gonna be able to do that chain finishing damage for you while being a breaker for you. He's got multiple ways to break. He has his Entrust the Future for a break. He's got God Killer, the normal mode version for a break. He's got access to God Killer +2 for a break, and he's got his Limit Burst for a break. So there's tons of ways for you to break with him, 70% and above. He's a fantastic character. If you had access to, maybe not a, if you don't have access to like a top tier breaker or whatever, he's going to be a solid option for you, or maybe even like an offensive option, right? Maybe you're using like a 75, 80% breaker and you want to tone that that back down and get some extra damage into your party. Auron's going to be a solid way for you guys to do that. So that's going to be Auron and Lulu EP skills. Look out for that video. Like I said, if you want to see it, go ahead, hit the subscription button. Like, comment below, all that good stuff. You guys are fantastic people out there, especially those who go even further beyond to support the channel. You guys are amazing, and I can't wait to start doing Patreon supported content. If you are a YouTube channel member, be sure to check out those early access videos you guys have access to. And until then, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.